What's up, YouTube? How is everybody doing? So today I'm in Annapolis, Maryland, and I've come to visit one of my longtime friends. We met nine years ago back in Uganda. He lived in Uganda, he worked in Uganda, and when we met, I was a caddy on one of the golf courses in Uganda, in Entebbe Golf Course. And fast forward, we met back in US when I came to US for school, and I hit him out of the blue and told him, "Hey man, I made it to the US." So yeah, I'm gonna let our guest introduce himself, and we'll go from there. And we're gonna talk about experience in Uganda, uh, the work, the difference of culture, the difference of how people are in terms of life, in terms of how people live, in terms of friendship, in terms of embracing each other. And we talk about food, we talk about nature, and all that. Just his perspective of US and Uganda, because he's lived in both countries. I don't want to be the one speaking about Uganda because I'm from Uganda. You guys will think I'm just biased about Uganda. But the mic is yours, sir. Welcome to the
Good.
show.
Well, thank you. Good morning. I'm Jeff.
Yes,
And
sir.
as Colin said, we met when I lived in Entebbe, and that was back in 2013. So 9 years of knowing this young man. He has blossomed into a fine young man. He was just a young little 18-year-old tight caddy. But
I was just running around and messing around.
but through sheer hard work and hustle, this man has turned into quite an outstanding young man. Got his bachelor's degree in business administration
Hmm.
from the Salisbury
Yeah. So
College.
Livingston College in
Oh, sorry,
Salisbury.
it's Livingston
Yes, sir.
College, Salisbury, North Carolina. And he worked hard, he got it, and now he's doing fantastic. Look at him. So there you go.
Yes, sir. He's known me from when I was just a kid. Actually, fun fact, he was the first person to tell me that he wouldn't be surprised if one day he woke up and I'm in the US, if I made it to the US. And another fun fact, he's the he's the person who paid for my driver's license.
Oh, well.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Well,
Yeah, so when I was on the golf course, one thing I liked about Jeff was he always has a big heart for everyone. So when you come to play golf in Entebbe, you take normally one caddy, just one person to carry your bag and help you with your game. But because of the financial situation of the guys around the club, Jeff would take like six guys with him just so that he can give us an earning, because it was hard to make a living and the situation was hard. So if he picked one person, he would feel sorry for the other five guys. So he ended up picking all of us for one person just because he wanted us to have some money in our pockets.
but the truth really is I was that bad at golf. I needed six guys to look for
No,
my ball that I
don't
was
believe that.
shaking everywhere.
Don't believe that. But yeah, so he used to do that, and it's through that we got close. We know each other, and I remember one of the sessions when we were on the golf course. He asked me, "Are you okay? Is everything fine?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine, but I'm trying to process my driver's license so that I can start driving to earn some money. I have a friend who has a car. I can borrow his car and drive some Uber or taxi, make some money to add up on what I work here." And he liked the idea. He gave me the money, the whole amount for the driver's license. So thank you for letting me get into the driver's seat.
It was my pleasure, and
Yes, sir.
it
Yes,
was
sir.
awesome to watch you do it. So
So my first question for you, Jeff, and for my viewers, what was your general experience of the 2 years, right? You lived in Uganda.
I lived there for not quite a year. So
Okay,
yeah,
close to a year.
close to a year. Yeah.
Okay. What was your general experience and observation of Uganda and Ugandan people?
My first experience was when I landed. I didn't know quite what to expect, although
Hmm.
I'd been to other parts of Africa, such as Djibouti and other places in northern Africa. I
Hmm.
had never been down to Central or Eastern Africa.
Right.
And so upon landing, did not know what to expect. Got out, and I do remember that since I had no, was it shillings?
Yes.
Yeah, Ugandan shillings.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to go to an ATM and get some money
Right.
exchanged. So went to an ATM, and my first experience was a person sitting with a machine gun next to the ATM. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, well,
Oh.
here we are. But that was just something I hadn't been used to, and but that was the very first impression.
Mm-hmm.
As I got there, and I just found that the people of Uganda were just very giving, very happy people. Whether you had a lot, whether you didn't have a lot, they were just happy, and they loved life. Beautiful country. The food
Right.
was awesome, and just enjoyed it. I really did. It was an awesome perspective to see. And
I'm glad you speak highly of where we come from.
well, they should be speaking highly of, because it's great people. You got
Yeah.
good family values. It matters. So
Nice.
it does.
Nice. Yeah. So I always tell people that the difference about Uganda and the US, it could be the people, because any place you go to, what makes the place a nice place or a bad place is the people,
Always.
how they treat you, how they welcome you, how they embrace you. That is a representation of where you come from or your country. And I believe Uganda has good people. You know.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah. So
100%.
yeah, that's the difference of as a Ugandan living in America. That is the biggest difference I've seen in terms of people in America. Ugandans are more outgoing and open and
I,
welcoming,
I'll agree with that.
and Americans are more reserved and precocious, if that's the right word.
I would say, depending on what part of America you're
Right.
in, it varies from region to region, just like anywhere. And in any culture, in any country, you have good people, you have bad people. But yeah, there is probably a lot more caution,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a bigger country,
Right.
lots more people, and then B, there's just a cynicism to sometimes in America.
Right.
There's a pride, absolutely, and
Yeah.
there are great people. But yeah, there's a lot of selfishness, and yeah. So I wouldn't disagree with that statement.
Okay. Yeah, well, so in Uganda, people have a perception that of America that it's all this Hollywood, all this they see on TV. And I remember we talked about this last night. But people don't understand. Yes, there are opportunities in America, but also the cost of living is very high in America.
That is a fact.
You might be making a lot of money, but there's a great tax system here. They take a lot of money from your paycheck too.
That
And
is true.
also the cost of living, house, rent, food. So I would like you to share some insight on you as an American, from American perspective, what it is like.
Well, yeah, and that is a perception. And I've traveled many, many countries. I've traveled all over the world, and so yes, unfortunately, everybody sees what they see in the movies. They see what they see on TV, and
Hmm.
that is Hollywoodized.
Right.
So yeah, it looks like paradise. It looks like everything's easy, and it looks like America is the land of get rich. That's
Hmm.
it. And but it's not that way for most people. It is. I will say America is a land of opportunity.
Right.
But when I say that, it's not just given to you. It affords you the opportunity to go have the chance to work for it if you want it.
Hmm.
But it's not given. And there are plenty of Americans struggling right now. We have
Right.
homeless, we have people who are struggling to eat, we have everything that you have in Uganda as well.
Right.
It's the same concept. I think the difference is when you see an exchange rate,
Right.
and the American dollar will definitely go a lot farther in Uganda than it will here.
Hmm.
Um, but other than that, yeah, if you compare them, it's drastically more expensive to live here, and it's not as easy as they make it look in the movies.
Yeah. One thing that is a fact is that the American money is always powerful, especially when you go in Africa. Most countries in Africa, the
Yes.
dollar is a little bit bigger than any currency that you in that country. Um, that being said, yes, you can come here and get a great job, work, but it doesn't mean that you're gonna keep all the money. You know, there's a system here. You have to pay Social Security, you have to pay federal taxes, you have to pay state taxes, you have to pay
Some places local
yeah,
taxes,
local
property
property
taxes,
taxes, and all that.
car registration
Car
fees.
registration, car insurance, which is like mandatory. And some of those things we don't have them in Uganda.
Right.
We don't have federal tax. Yes, we do, but our tax system is different. I think we
Correct.
pay 18% VAT. That's the most,
Right.
and the rest is yours. But in terms of opportunity, yes, I 100% agree. America gives you leverage where you can work and become somebody. You can, if you choose to, because at the end of the day, you have to be willing to put in the work. It's not that the opportunities are going to look for you. You're going to look for the opportunities and find them and make the best out of it. A lot of people think you're just going to come here and the opportunities will be looking for you. That's not how it works. That is just a perception from the movies. Yes, there are opportunities here, but you have to put in the work, which is something that is hard from back Uganda. In Uganda, we don't really have a lot of opportunities.
Right.
We have limited resources. We have limited access to information, good healthcare, good education, you know, transportation. I'll give you an example. So a flight from Entebbe, Uganda to Nairobi is only like 45 minutes.
Right.
And it will cost you like $400 a ticket.
Yeah.
But I flew from North Carolina to here and I paid like $100.
Yeah.
You know, so the standard of living is a lot better in America in terms of the ease to access basic stuff that you need to live.
Yeah, technology,
Yeah,
infrastructure, all
yeah,
that. Well, yeah, and it's so yes, and the economy you've got, and that is the thing is there's more opportunity because the economy is bigger. You
right,
have manufacturing, you have infrastructure,
right.
and things of that nature. You can do anything from farming to computers and building robots, but it's yeah, one thing I did find about a lot of Africa was yes, there are very few opportunities because they don't have manufacturing and computers and IT departments and things like that.
Hmm.
So yeah, there's a bigger limit to what you can do because yeah, the opportunities just aren't there. So I always hope and pray that Uganda will come along and become an economic powerhouse, but unfortunately, I do see, there's corruption and
Oh yeah,
there is,
oh yeah,
and don't get me wrong, we've got corruption here in America too. So our politicians are not gods and all that stuff you see on TV about how the president and all that stuff is, yeah, none of them are, this is just my opinion, but
yeah,
in my opinion, they're out for themselves as most politicians in almost every country in the world are.
right,
So that means us as the citizens, you got to take care of yourself. And what we were talking about last night
right.
is if you want it, you got to go get it.
Hmm.
I grew up fairly poor,
Hmm.
didn't have a lot of money, and everything I did was through sheer sweat, hard work, and just the never give up attitude. So that's kind of where it's at, man.
And regardless of where you are in the world, I'm a strong believer and I'm a very good example for that. If you work hard, set your goals, know what you want, and be determined. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but just be determined to go through all the hard work and put in the work that you need. I always believe the universe will send people to you to elevate you, to take you to the next step. Because if you work hard and put in the time, put in the dedication, make the sacrifice, I promise you, you're going to be good at whatever that is. And then over time, it will open for you doors. You know, I started as a caddy. I started messing around playing golf. My game got better. Made it to the national team. Started traveling and playing golf. And then my friend that was in the US reached out and like, hey, I think I can get you a scholarship. Long story short, I ended up in college in America, which is a great opportunity because that is actually one of the things that I'm very blessed is that I graduated debt free coming
Amen.
from.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of Americans here, they graduate with like $100,000 in debt from
Yeah,
college.
it can be.
You know, so
College is super
yeah,
expensive these days.
so college is very very expensive. People pay like 30,000 to 40,000 a year just to go to school,
Absolutely.
and then college is 4 years. That's, if you do the math, that's plus that's 100,000 plus. And when the government loans you that money, you have to pay after you graduate.
That's correct.
So I'm very fortunate that I used my talent, God-given abilities, to be able to scoop a scholarship and go to school and graduate with no debts. But yeah, it goes back to the point where I had to work hard, and I didn't have the resources, the golf equipment, the nice golf balls or whatever. I used whatever was available to get in a position to where it took me. But if I know a lot of guys in this, that were in my same situation, and they are still in the same situation that we were 10 years ago. It's because they did not plan. Number one, they did not focus on what they want. They didn't make the right choices to elevate their life, because life is all about choices. And whatever choices you make, they either make you better or they contaminate you. So,
That's correct.
yes, sir.
Absolutely correct. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I appreciate you coming on my channel and sharing a light all about America. And I guess most of my followers just want to, I try to record this content to give them a perspective of what the actual situation in America is. Because I was lucky that I came through a school. And when you're in school, you get to see the whole picture before you come out into the workforce.
Dude.
It's an advantage. But a lot of people just look at the TV, what they see on the news, how America is, Hollywood, California, and they think the rest of America is like that. People are rich, people are
And
buying,
funny
you
enough
know?
is people in America watch the news and the TV and they don't understand why they're not living that Hollywood life either.
Right.
So it's yeah, the TV and the news and all that, you can take it with a grain of salt, but it is, yeah, it's designed to make it look like paradise.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it is a great place to live. It is an awesome country, but yes, it is not all roses, and it's not all just good times. The struggles are real here too. They're just different. So
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree. America, there's no place which has changed my life more than America. America has given me great opportunity, great education, great life that I'm living right now. But I also earned it. I put in the work
that is
and,
correct.
read my stuff and, stayed in school, did the right thing. There's a lot of distractions in America. There's a lot of things that can kick you off your plan, but you gotta stay grounded, know who you are, know what you want, and you keep persevering. So yeah, America has given me the platform to be what I am. So, and I'm always grateful for that.
And in the same light, I'm grateful for Uganda.
Right.
So there is something here in America that I didn't see as much of in Africa and Uganda was the drive for just the materialistic things.
Right.
So here, people will go into massive debt, even if they can't afford it, if they want to drive that BMW car to
Hmm.
try and keep up the appearance that they're doing well, or buying a Louis Vuitton purse for $3,000. It's
Right.
insane. Most people can't afford that. And so they go out and buy this stuff, and they're always constantly trying to keep up, and they put themselves in massive debt for it. Now, what I'll say about Uganda when I got there, I didn't see that as much. I
Mm.
know that, yeah, there's probably some,
Right.
but in general, what I saw was, even though you might not have had the same material things that you see here in America or that we even have here in America, what I saw was happiness.
Right.
So the proof was in the pudding for me that money isn't money is not the driver of happiness. It only solves one problem, and
Hmm.
that takes one stressor off of your life, which maybe, being able to pay your bills. Which I'm not saying that's not huge, because it is. I've been broke. I've gone days without eating when I was younger and all that, so I understand those struggles. But what I will say is, when I walked around in Tebi and Kampala, and I saw people were still happy. whether they have money or not. But they placed value in their faith, whether it was Muslim or Christian, didn't matter. But they placed value in family, and they genuinely always had a smile on their face, no matter what the struggle was.
Yeah.
So happiness is what you make of it. That's what that taught me. So, which I thought was, like I said, it changed my life as well. So,
Right.
you know, it's a symbiotic relationship. So,
Yeah.
America changed Collin, Uganda
You're gonna
changed
change
them.
him. Yeah, I'll say in America, people are more materialistic. You know, just like you say, people want expensive stuff, even though when they cannot afford it. And I guess it's the system. The system here is based on credit.
Yeah,
You know, credit gives you the ability that you don't have. You know, you can go and buy something that you don't have the money for.
correct.
You know, and it just, a lot of people are in debt. Like, it just puts you in debt, and then you have these monthly payments, monthly credit
And you're
payments. You
gonna
know,
owe for the rest of your life
yeah,
on it. And yeah,
and you're paying a lot of interest on it and all that. So it was an eye opener for me. I actually just finished reading a book called The Debt
excuse me.
Trap, and yeah, so I've always wanted to be very careful before I get something. I want to know the detail of it before I get myself in it. So I read that book, and it helped me understand it on a broader picture. Like, it's a habit here. People don't find it. Like, I'm a type of person who, if I don't have the money for something, I'm not gonna do it.
Same way.
I keep it simple like that. But here, because people have credit cards, even though they don't have the money,
Oh,
they
yeah.
just swipe the card.
Put it on the plastic.
Yeah, just swipe the card.
And it's that instant gratification. And so,
Right.
and the funny part about it to me is, I think I kind of fell into that trap when I was a teenager. But then I started figuring out, I was like, what is this? What, it doesn't matter what it is. Let's say a TV, for example.
Right.
I got to have that TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you go out and you put it on the plastic. It's $2,000. Now you got a TV. Well, that's great for a little while, but guess what? Technology changes like that.
Yeah.
So now you're still paying on this TV 4 or 5 years later, and that thing is out of date, and there's a newer model out, and you're like, so,
You're stuck
and
with
it
the
becomes
payment.
this vicious cycle where people just think they have to have the latest, the greatest, and yeah, and like I said, it's material things that ain't gonna make you happy. You're probably gonna get tired of the darn TV after a couple weeks, couple months, whatever. So, um, while it seems like that is the end all be all at times, that's not it. So keep that in mind. And I think what Colin said hits the nail on the head for me is, if I don't have the money to be able to pay for it, I'm not buying it. That's
Right.
just plain and simple. So I don't need it that bad. So there you go.
All right. I think that was it for us for today. I will, for those of you watching us on TikTok, thank you for watching us. Please go subscribe on the YouTube channel. It's called The Untold Show, where we share about the experiences in the different places we live. We motivate, encourage, and self-development. If you like content about such things, please go subscribe. And this was it for us. We see you on the next video. Peace and love.